So as a result of those results that we got with those studies, I was able to become the chiropractor for Eastern Airlines, Hyatt, Hilton, Marriott, AvMed. I was the first chiropractor as an HMO chiropractic director, where I was actually involved in recruiting doctors for the HMOs. And as a result of that, I also got involved with the city of Miami. Chiropractic was not accepted like it is today. But what happened to me when I was only 16, 17 years old is I was having problems with really severe headaches and blindness. Hi everyone, my name is Dr. Mark Silverman. Many of you may know me from maybe having seen me on television, Telemundo, Univision, the Heat Games, NBC, all over the place. And I've been practicing a long time. But most of you have absolutely no idea how I got involved in chiropractic. And that's my goal today, is to get you to know a little bit more about me. To start, I think it's important that people understand, how did you ever become a chiropractor? Remember, I'm practicing almost 50 years. And when I decided to become a chiropractor, chiropractic was not accepted like it is today. But what happened to me when I was only 16, 17 years old is I was having problems with really severe headaches and blindness. I would go blind to the point that I couldn't play certain sports. I couldn't do a lot of things. And I had a host of other health issues. I went to many different doctors, had many different scans, had many different things to try and determine what was wrong with me. And finally, somebody came to my house, a friend of my mom's, and said, why don't you try going to a chiropractor? A chiropractor, they're quacks. I'm not going to a chiropractor. But, when you're desperate and nothing else is helping you, guess what? You'll take a chance. So I decided to go to the chiropractor and started getting treatments. At that time, there was no insurance coverage. I think we were paying like $15 a visit, if I remember. So I started going to the chiropractor, and within a couple of months, guess what? My headaches were gone. I was feeling great. My vision was perfect. I was feeling better than I ever had before. And I go, wow, if the medical profession was wrong about what was causing my headaches and my blindness, what else are they wrong about? So I decided to start doing research and reading everything I could about chiropractic. And after a while, I started to realize that, wow, chiropractic could be helping so many more people. But most people out there didn't know anything about it. So I said, you know what? This is what I want to do. And I was in college. Had my own radio show. I played on the basketball team. I wanted to become a coach or a radio personality at some point. And then one day I called my parents up and I go, I'm going to make a change. I want to become a chiropractor. And at that point, we figured all of that money that my parents had spent sending me to Emerson College to become a sportscaster or a coach or whatever, they thought it was all going to be a waste of money. So I started pursuing chiropractic, went to school at Columbia Institute of Chiropractic in New York. And then when I finished, I decided to come to Miami to open up my practice. I came with $250 in my pocket, didn't own a car, was able to stay in a broken down apartment on top of the office that I finally was able to contract with, and the rest is history. And people would say to me, but how could you go there not knowing how you were going to make a living? And I said, my parents were the ones who told me this. They said, if you go and take care of people, give them a fair price, and you get incredible results, trust me, you won't have to worry about patients coming to you. And sure enough, I went in with that confidence. I felt that I was really the best at what I did and that my patients were going to get well. One thing led to another, and now you know a big part of the story. So after finally getting established here in Miami and getting my practice going, I started seeing the results that we were getting, especially with people who were diagnosed as needing neck and back surgery. And we started noticing that when people had been to all these other specialists with no results, if I was able to get them well, just think how I would be able to help people avoid unnecessary surgery. And so I started going out and talking to different companies, corporations, HMOs. And finally, I got the AvMed health plan, which was at the time the largest HMO in the southeastern United States, to start sending me all of their worst cases. All of the cases that had been to orthos, had been to neuros, had been told they needed hospitalization or surgery. And they sent those to me. And guess what? The first 100 cases they sent, 93 of those people got well without surgery, without hospitalization. And then we followed it up 6 months later to see how they were doing. And of all the 100 people that came to me, only one that we treated had to go for continuing care. Everybody else was still feeling great after the treatment. As a result of that work that I did with AvMed, we published a study. And this study was used and helped get chiropractic accreditation. It also helped in filing a lawsuit against the American Medical Association, which as a result of my study was one of the reasons that we won the lawsuit. And that's also one of the reasons that chiropractic is much more accepted today. So as a result of those results that we got with those studies, I was able to become the chiropractor for Eastern Airlines, Hyatt, Hilton, Marriott, AvMed. I was the first chiropractor as an HMO chiropractic director, where I was actually involved in recruiting doctors for the HMOs. And as a result of that, I also got involved with the city of Miami, with Dade County. Even to one point, we got such incredible results that they even had a Mark Silverman Day. I mean, I couldn't believe it. It was pretty fun. But the point I'm trying to say is that because of the results we get and we have gotten, doors open up. And there's never been a shortage of patients. At one point, believe it or not, we were seeing 3,000 to 4,000 patients a week in our facilities here in Miami. So the word spread like wildfire. Why did it spread so fast? This is a cool story, I think. This gentleman, his name was Randy, and he came into my office one day, and he was having a lot of pain in his lower back. And he said, "Doc, do me a favor. I need you to help me out here, but I had a business deal that kind of went south. I'm having some economic problems. Can I work something out with you?" So I go, "Okay, what do you have in mind?" He goes, "Well, I have a tremendous amount of time on the TV station, Channel 23, which was Univision. At that time, Telemundo did not exist. Okay? So I said to him, "Yeah, but the problem is I hardly speak Spanish." And he goes, "Don't worry about it. We'll have a cardboard sign and we'll write everything out for you phonetically and you'll do the commercial from that." So I'm thinking and I'm going, all right, I mean, what do I have to lose? I'm going to do it. So I do the first commercial and I go on TV and I'm trying to speak Spanish. And I did take Spanish in high school, but I can't say that I really learned too much from it. So anyway, I'm trying to communicate with all these people, and this is in 1980. So you got to understand that at that point, all of the Cuban people who came over here on the Mariel boat lift, they were all new in Miami, and there was only one TV station for them to watch, which was Univision. So I would go on TV and I would go, "Yo soy Dr. Silverman. Tiene dolor? Llámame a mí primero." And when I started doing that, you got to understand that back then, everybody who was on Spanish TV spoke Spanish fluently and quickly. And here's this guy out of the blue trying to speak Spanish on Spanish TV. And the truth of the matter is most people laughed because they stopped doing what they were doing to listen to my commercials because they're like, who is this guy? Who is this guy? But what happened was, you got to understand, in Cuba, they didn't have chiropractic. So here I was basically talking to them as a physician, but in a type of care that they had no experience. So they started calling me and getting treatment in my office. And one thing led to another. And we were flooded. We were flooded with people who came over. And when you got one Cuban patient well, you got the whole family. And before long, we were flooded with patients and we continued to grow and grow and grow. So as a result of the results that we've been able to get through chiropractic, we've actually been able to convert the entire Hispanic community to understand and go to chiropractors, because in Miami, we have the highest utilization of chiropractic in the Hispanic community of any city or state in this country. So that ends today, our first session here on YouTube. And what I'm going to ask all of you to do is to please subscribe to our channel, or to activate the notifications. And we're going to be doing more and more of these. And we're going to explain to you things like, in the next session, I'm going to talk about people who get involved in accidents and how I got involved in taking care of people in accidents. And it's also, I think it's an interesting story, but it will also give you an idea of what we can do to help you if you've been involved in an accident. So remember, if you've been involved in an accident, whether it's in Miami, whether it's in Broward, whether it's in Palm Beach, even if you've had accidents in other places, I may be able to find you a chiropractor in those areas. So you know my telephone number, 305-595-9920.